friends. Today on Murders and Manicures, I am going to get my nails ready for my next manicure, and we are going to talk about the Watts family murders that took place a couple of years ago out in Colorado. So a little backstory. The couple, Chris and Shanann Watts, met in 2010. Apparently he sent her a Facebook friend request, and while she wasn't really looking for a relationship, they became friends. The relationship happened and they got married in 2012. Sometime after that, they moved to Colorado and had 2 children. Bella was born in 2013, and Celeste, otherwise known as Cece, was born in 2015. From the outside looking in, they had a great marriage. Shanann posted a lot on social media about their relationship and life in general, and said things like Chris was her rock and she didn't know what she'd do without him, and he was such a great husband and father, and you know, all this stuff. So fast forward to the spring of 2018, Chris starts having an affair with a co-worker named Nicole. Shanann has no idea, and neither does anyone else. So then in the summer of 2018, Shanann and the girls spent 6 weeks in North Carolina to visit with family. That's where both sets of grandparents were. So they were out there for 6 weeks to visit with family. The last week, Chris was out there with them. And Shanann had been sending texts to friends that she felt like things had changed, that he was more distant, and she didn't know what was going on, and she was worried there was someone else, and, you know, things like that. So they get back home in August of 2018, and then a few days later, Shanann goes on a business trip with a friend. So her business, she was a part of a company called Lavelle. The product is called Thrive. It's a health and wellness network marketing company. It's like a vitamin patch or something. I don't really know too much about it. I don't really pay attention to the health and wellness MLMs, network marketing companies. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So she goes for the weekend, and her friend Nicole drops her off back at home. It's like 2 in the morning on August 13th. And then later on that day, when Nicole can't get a hold of Shanann, she starts getting worried. Apparently, Shanann also missed a doctor's appointment, and friend Nicole is the real MVP here, because honestly, if I had a pregnant friend that I had dropped off at like 2 in the morning, and then a couple hours later I'm not getting text messages from her, and I say a couple hours is really like at least 7 or 8 hours later, you know, like later on in the morning, and I'm not hearing from her, I'm just gonna think, oh, she's tired and she's taking a nap because it was late and she's pregnant, and that takes a lot out of you. So friend Nicole is the real MVP. So she's worried, and she calls Chris, and she also calls police with her concerns. So the police come, and Chris leaves work, and he gives the police permission to search the house. He tells them that they had a conversation, an emotional conversation, before he went to work that day, because he said that he wanted a separation. And, you know, they were both emotional, but she was okay. And she had said that she was going to take the girls to a friend's house. And then he didn't know what friend, he didn't know where they were, he didn't know anything. And the police didn't really find anything amiss. There was no signs of struggle or anything in the house. They did find Shanann's car was at home. The girls' car seats were in the car, and her phone was there along with her wedding ring. So Chris just said, I have no idea where they are. I don't know what's going on. And I think it was the next day, on August 14th, they were officially declared missing, and he went on TV talking about just come home. If someone has them, bring them back. You know, the normal things, but he didn't really seem all that broken up about it if you like watch those videos from that time. All right, I just gave my hands a quick rinse because this stuff contains caustic substances that eats away at live skin as well as your dead cuticle skin. So quick rinse and I'm back. So it's August 14th. The Shanann and the girls had been declared missing, and you know, Chris has had interviews with the police. He's been on TV, all this stuff. And then he also had a polygraph. So on August 15th, he was arrested, and he had failed his polygraph. And he told the police, hey, I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you what's going on, but I need to talk to my dad. So his dad had flown in from North Carolina, was at the police station. So in a recorded interview room, he tells his dad that Shanann is the one that killed the girls, and he killed her in a fit of rage. So he also tells that to the police, and the police is like, well, where are they? And he says that, you know, he'll take them, he tells them where they are, and that, you know, he'll show them or whatever. So that all happened. And then, you know, during all this time, the few days between the time that friend Nicole was concerned about them and the time that he got arrested, police were looking into his phone records, and they were conducting interviews. They found out about his affair with his girlfriend Nicole, completely different Nicole. There's a friend Nicole, and then there's his girlfriend Nicole. So had interviewed her, and I guess that he had told her that he was separated and things like that. But the internet feels like she's a little bit suspicious because it came out in her phone records that a couple of weeks before the murders, she had searched things like, you know, the man I'm having an affair with says he's going to leave his wife. She had looked at wedding dresses. She had searched marrying your mistress. And then after the murders, she had searched things like, can cops trace text messages? And she also searched things about Amber Frey. And Amber Frey was the mistress of Scott Peterson, who had murdered his pregnant wife, Lacey, some years before. I feel like it was the early 2000s, but I could be wrong about that time period. So anyway, the internet feels the girlfriend is suspicious. But after Chris confessed, the police stopped all other investigation into anyone else. So who knows if she knew anything or was involved or any of that. I have no idea. So anyway, Chris confessed to killing Shanann because she killed the girls. And then he was arrested on August 15th, like I said. The police apparently did not believe him. I mean, moms do kill their kids sometimes. It is a thing that happens, unfortunately, but not in this case. So I guess they didn't believe him or found his story suspicious or, you know, whatever. He wasn't acting right. So a couple days later, well, almost a week later, on August 21st, Chris was charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder. That is 1 count each for Shanann and the girls, and then another count per child for death of a child who had not yet attained 12 years of age. He was also charged with the unlawful termination of Shanann's pregnancy and 3 counts of tampering with a deceased human body. Because when he killed Shanann, they were in their room. They had the argument or whatever. And I guess she had told him that he would never see the girls. So allegedly that's when he strangled her. And then he was, I don't know if it was in their room or when he was taking her body somewhere, but I guess Bella saw him and was like, what's wrong with mommy? And he was all, she's sick. So he loaded them all in his work truck and took him to a work site. He worked for an oil company and took them out there and buried Shanann, smothered the girls with their blankets, and put them inside one of the oil tanks, or separate oil tanks. I'm not really sure. So on November 6th, he pled guilty to the murders of his family. The death penalty was not on the table because Shanann's family they didn't want any more deaths. So then on November 19th, he was sentenced to 5 life sentences, 3 consecutive, which means they're served one right after the other, and 2 concurrent, which means they're served at the same time, without the possibility of parole. He also received an additional 48 years for the unlawful termination of pregnancy and 36 years for the 3 charges of tampering with a deceased body. And I am going to wipe all this dust off my nails really quick with an alcohol prep pad. So yeah, Chris is currently somewhere in Wisconsin, I think, serving his life sentences. Since then, women have been writing to him. I don't know why. So he's has a bunch of pen pals that are women, and he's just chilling, serving his life sentences. So this is cuticle oil. If I don't make my own, this is what I use. And you want to start it back here and not, just on your nail, but start it a little bit back. Because when you rub it in, then that helps the circulation and blood flow in your nail matrix, which is where your new nail cells are formed. So when all of this happened, I didn't really hear too much about it because I don't really watch the news that often, but some friends had posted about it on the Facebooks, and I remember being like, I didn't even read the stories. It was like this lady and her 2 children are missing, and I'm like, yeah, he did it. Because most of the time, the people that kill their whole families, they're called the family annihilator. Most of the time, that's a man. Women do not typically kill their children and their significant other. They tend to be white men in their 30s, according to a former FBI agent by the name of Brad Garrett. So I am just rubbing in my cuticle oil. I would be skipping this step if I was immediately doing a manicure, but I picked off my last 2 manicures, which is a huge no-no, so my nails are kind of a mess and they need the moisture right now. But yeah, that's the Watts family murders. Thanks for watching. Bye.